Okay, volume of a sphere. Okay, let's say you've got two shapes, a cylinder and a sphere. Let's say both shapes have the same height. Let's say the great circle, which essentially is the biggest circle you can get out of a sphere, is the same as the base of a cylinder. Which shape is bigger and by how much? Now, if you want to look at the video, which nicely explains it, I'll put a link in the description. Now, if you have seen that, all it tells you is that the sphere is 2/3 of the size of the cylinder. Right. So can you use this to derive a formula? Now, I want something to do with radius. Yeah, try and think about what the height of the cylinder is. Try and think about how can I represent an expression for the base of the cylinder. Give you a second to try and do that. You might want to pause the video. Okay, now let's just think about the cylinder and then we'll bring the sphere in later. Now, because that's a prism, the volume for the formula would be the cross-section times height, or my base times height, just because of the way it's orientated. My base is going to be pi r squared. Okay. Now the height of this is going to be 2 radii, and that's because it's exactly the same as the height of the sphere, and the height of the sphere happens to be the same as the width of the sphere, because that's the property of the sphere. So all I have to do is multiply these both together. So I've got 2 times radius times pi r squared. Put them together, I get 2 pi r cubed. So that's my formula for this type of cylinder. Not all cylinders, just this type here. Okay. Now, because we know it's 2/3 of the cylinder, I get my volume of the cylinder. Yeah, I times that by 2/3. So 2/3 times 2 pi r squared cubed, and that's just going to be 4/3 pi r cubed. Now that's the formula for every sphere in the world. If you don't get how I derived it, that's fine. All you have to do is 4/3 pi r cubed. Right, there's there, but that's old as hat. Okay, so you've got a sphere here. The radius is 7 inches. Go, try and work out the volume. Give me a sec. Right, it's really straightforward, really. Just remember the formula, and the formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. The only thing I have to substitute in is the 7. So it's going to be 4/3 pi times 7 cubed. Multiply with your calculator, you get this answer. It says round, but units as well. Because there's inches in the question, it's got to be inches in the answer. Right, another one. Give you a second to try this. Pause the video if you want. Again, we're just substituting. So it's 4/3 pi r cubed. Radius is 4. So it'll be 4/3 pi 4 cubed. It says use pi as 3.14, but I'd use whatever's on your calculator. So a little bit of variation will be fine. 267.9 inches cubed. Good. Exactly the same. Substituting 3.2. Yeah, 137.26. Right. And if we're doing a hemisphere, we're doing exactly the same stuff. All we're doing, we're just dividing by 2 afterwards. Okay, here's some questions. Read them. Give you some time to do it. Pause the video if you want. Right, here's your answers. I'm not going through a lot of these, but it's always nice if you go to the radius. That's why some of these questions I put the radius that worked them out to be. And just be careful, if it's 4/3 pi r cubed and you're working backwards, yeah, so like let's say for number 2, the 288, you've got to divide it by 4/3, yeah, and get your answer, and then cube root that. Okay. Good, right, we've got another question which is nice. It's quite a nice hard question. A tube of tennis balls is a cylinder with a radii of 3.8. It contains 3 balls which fit exactly inside it. How high is the tube? What is the volume of the empty space? Now, I would definitely recommend to draw this. I'll give you a bit of time, then I'll make it a bit easier. So pause it if you want. If you need a visual representation, there you go. Okay. That is a lot nicer. And how high is the tube? If you know the radius is 3.8. You've got to think how many radii is the height. So the diameter is 7.6, and I've got 3 of them. Yeah, so 22.8 in height, should be good. The volume of the empty space. Now what we need to do is we need to do 2 things. First of all, we need to find the volume of the cylinder. Take away the volume of the 3 tennis balls. Okay. Volume of the cylinder would be pi r squared times height. And 3.8 is radius, so pi times 3.8 squared times the height. Okay, whatever it says there, 1034.34. Volume of the tennis balls, 3 times volume of one ball. 4/3 pi r cubed. 3.8 is the radius for both, so 4/3 times pi 3.8 cubed. And I'm going to times that by 3 because there's 3 of them. Then I subtract them each. Just hope you enjoyed that lesson.